self-control. Gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. The claws in my heart, I can't let go, I'm breaking apart, controlling me, controlling me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wednesday extravaganza of Paranormal Mayhem as usual. I hope you guys are having a great week. Happy hump day, everybody. You're halfway through the work week. It's all downhill from here as far as I'm concerned, but that's usually the case on the portal. Sorry, that was really funny in my head. All right. So, you get what you pay for, everybody. So, hope you guys are all ready because it's time for the episode to begin. Hang on tight. We're going in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday, Hump Day's Eve, and you are among friends, so feel free to unwind, kick back, relax, grab a huge portion of your favorite beverage, whatever that might be, and make yourself comfortable, because turn down the lights, light a few candles, and relax, because we got this, so to speak. But I'm not alone here, ladies and gentlemen. I have my good friend and co-host, Mr. Don Longbeard, here with me.
I'm always wondering. Usually it's just get in, sit down, shut up, and hold on.
Hang on, buckle up.
But we got this. That's kind of scary.
We got this. We got this. It's a mild form of control. Maybe not always effective.
It's
but
an illusion of control.
Right, which is, a big portion of my life, as it were.
Well,
I'm just kidding. But I hope you guys are having a great week. Thanks so much for being here. We are off to a glorious start on our podcasting, ladies and gentlemen. Been a lot of great involvement, and the numbers are picking up, so it's really exciting. And thank you to all of you out there who have checked out the podcast version of the Paranormal Portal. We are into week number 3 of our podcast now at 3 episodes per week. So we just uploaded the 8th episode today. It went live, and that was a good one. And I hope you guys, if you haven't checked it out, I hope you check it out. And you can find us on Spotify, Pandora, Google Play, on iTunes. We even got our own little tile. When you look in we have our own, or we're represented there.
Wow.
And everywhere you get podcasts from. So check it out, and please, subscribe if you haven't already, and please share the news with the world at large that you love the Paranormal Portal, or at least that you enjoy it. Love is a strong word. Love takes a while, but at least if you enjoy
it does not with us.
Not
We're
with us.
just lovable guys.
It's love at first sight here on the Portal. So I don't know, but I hope you guys will do that. Thank you guys so much. Hey, Duke, good to see you. I'm just getting into the gears here now, but who's in here so far, Don?
Oh, let me get right on that. Let's go ahead and just start off with here's a new name I haven't heard before. Art is Life. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you.
Yeah, Art is Life was in here. Has been in here at least a few times that I've seen. It's really cool.
Well, cool.
Always great to see new names.
And then we got Bigfoot Michigan Rob. We got Black Tree. We got Mr. Duke, Cade Shipley. Hi, Deb. Hi, Gemini. Look, there's Krista Monster Truck Gal. Lewis, how you doing? Pam, hi. Renee Harvey. Sarah's here. She says she's been absent for a month, but I'll give her a pass for that.
All right.
And then we've got Suzanne Lucerne O'Brien and Virginia. How are you?
It's Lucero.
Lucero? Very
Lucero.
good. I have no roll to the tongue when it comes to something like that. It's like
the beard keeps getting in the way.
My apologies.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
So glad you're here with us, though.
It's awesome to see all these new names popping up. That's really cool. And thank you all for being here and continue to spread the word about the channel as well. That'd be great. And we love to see all these new faces coming every time. So
she says I did great.
Oh, well, she's enabling your fat tongue. You've got a fat tongue.
You've got a fat tongue. Put it back in your mouth.
Got that back away.
Oh, boy.
Oh no. This is just how it works. This is how it starts, and then it usually goes downhill from here. So.
Like he said, it's always downhill.
Well, that's right. But you know what? We can save gas that way, so that's always good.
Oh, and a shout out to MCAT. He's driving, he's listening, but he's not going to chat tonight. So shout out to MCAT.
Yeah, good to hear you, brother. He's been calling in a lot lately, which is really cool.
His stories are awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a paranormal investigator himself, so he's got lots to share, and I'm just really thrilled that he's a part of the show. So
yes,
all of you, I'm thrilled are a part of the show. We are a family here, and it's a growing family. I can't wait for Christmas.
I don't see Hacker by the way.
Oh, where is he at?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
He's got things on his plate, that's for sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Sure.
No 3-bean salad. My goodness.
Yeah.
Leave it to Julia.
But
God, I love you.
Yeah, if you watch the Black Eyed Kids podcast part 2, it's
is that the one that dropped yesterday?
Day before yesterday.
Monday, yeah.
Dropped Monday. And ladies and gentlemen, if you watch that podcast, it's actually a classic Paranormal Portal episode. Oh, no. But it's one of the most profound Donisms in the history of Donisms. Don's has a history of pronouncing things differently.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Uniquely.
Uniquely.
He's got a unique palate, and I'm not going to give it away, but please check out the episode. If you're in a rush, if you're in a rush, you only have to spend the first 5 minutes listening, and you'll get the gist of that. But let's just say that Don.
Excuse me.
Good God, man, are you okay?
No, you made me laugh when I was drinking. Now I'm blowing it out my nose.
Well, it's better out your nose than
yeah. Right.
So anyway, but yeah, it's a good episode, and it's pretty humorous. So check it out. But today dropped a new one with Naysay. He and I were talking about the alien situation here on Earth, aliens among us. It was a good conversation, and special thanks to Naysay for spending some time with me. Don and I just recorded another UFO episode today.
Yep, sure did.
So very cool. And then after the show, I'm going to be hanging out with the Duke for a while. So my plate is full and busy, but
his
amazing.
His dance card is filled for the night.
Yes, it is. I'm going to be a tired pilgrim by the end of this.
Hey,
but
pilgrim.
It's all right. There's the old saying, if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life.
That's right.
And honest to God, as I do the portals, it's something I desperately love. And
Gemini said she loved the one with Naysay.
Oh, very cool. Thank you so much. That's great. And I love the feedback. So, guys, let me know what you're thinking of these episodes, or if there's an episode you'd like to hear us cover on the podcast, please let me know. It's important. I can sit and look at a list of topics and pick something, but
Just go
if we get
cross-eyed.
requests, that's really cool too. So feel free to email your requests to paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, and I will be happy to put together a podcast for your request. Just, so long as it's paranormal.
Paranormal and still family friendly.
Yeah, it's got to be family friendly. But the phone lines are open, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to call in and share something of your very own tonight, you can do that. You can call 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. So what are we getting, a storm? What's...
Yeah, Black Tree says that it's starting to storm, and
Hold
Duke
on.
says it's raining nicely there too.
Okay. Can you talk for a couple
Can I
minutes?
talk? Oh,
I gotta,
sure.
I gotta
Hey, you know what?
I got to text Mrs.
You know what?
Portal.
We forgot to do something last week we meant to do, and that was kind of pimp our merch. So
please.
that's
Oh, let me pull that up quick
Yeah.
while I'm doing this, and you
sure. And so we have shirts and hoodies and things like that all available. We've got some coffee mugs available. So if you want to check that out, it's teesprings.com/stores with an STORES /paranormal -portal. I think, hey, Julia, can you slap that up there for me in the chat? That's perfect. There you go. For yoga pants. Yes, we actually have yoga pants too. Oh, there it is. Brent's got it on the screen.
I got it up here so you guys can see some of the Portal swag that we got out there.
I'm probably going to add some things that don't necessarily say Paranormal Portal, but we've got to find out those like taglines or whatever that may be to get up there. Just in case, you want to show your love, but don't want to say be out of the closet, so maybe we talked about maybe doing like an Angel 22 shirt or something. Remember the other day we were talking about that? But anyhow, we'll figure something out that's not necessarily just screaming Paranormal Portal, but we want you to scream Paranormal Portal. So that's awesome. Once again, the phone line 720-923-0500. And if you want to write to us, it's Paranormal Portal Radio @gmail.com for anything you'd like to share. So yeah, that's really cool. Glad we got through all that self-aggrandizing merchandise stuff.
Well, it's I mean it's kind of it's something, of course, we take a lot of pride in, but it also goes a long way to support what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so,
to make sure that the lines are still open and we're still on the air.
Don't get me wrong. I love it when you guys do things like super chats and send PayPal.me's and stuff. That's wonderful. It really is. But I like this idea even more because you get something for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel a little bit guilty when people send in donations because I feel like, you should have something for that. So this at least enables us to...
You mean something other than our undying love?
Well, that
Something
goes without
tangible.
saying. We love all of our listeners, a bunch. But, when you guys do this, then I know that at least you're getting something in return other than thank you on the air for a super chat or email from me for a PayPal thing. This way you got something. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's
yeah. I do.
I don't know.
Why do people keep requesting like Speedos and bikinis? Why?
Bikinis I'm okay with, but Speedos, hell no.
Here's your paranormal pouch.
Your paranormal marble sack. How would you even get the font on there?
Those BBs?
Yeah.
No thongs either, Sarah. No, of course not. No thongs on
PP,
here.
that's about all it'll
PP.
fit on there.
That may be appropriate.
I know, depending on the age of the wearer, but yeah.
Maybe that should be our baby line for diapers.
I just, it came up because I was talking about getting ready, trying to be on a diet so I'd be ready for my Speedo. And it's still snowballing to this day. So it's a joke, ladies and gentlemen. My body belongs nowhere even near a Speedo. That would just be wrong.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure there's natural laws that I'd be in violation of if I tried to wear a Speedo.
Oh no. Horribles.
So anyway, let's do some mayhem, shall we? First and foremost,
That's all we were.
Well, let's do some paranormal mayhem.
Oh, gotcha.
Every show is mayhem, but we should probably gear it towards some paranormal here.
Oh,
but
okay. All right.
First of all, I wanted to, sincerely express our condolences to the family of Stanton Friedman, a brilliant ufologist, and he was a nuclear physicist as well. But he spent his life, a good portion of his life, talking about being visited by aliens. And what is some of his work on?
Geez. Well, he's a big time researcher. He's been researching for 40 plus years.
Yeah.
And he's written quite a few books. He's just the penultimate when it comes to ufology research.
Yeah.
He's just been in there. He's been on all kinds of things. He was on Ancient Aliens a time or two. I've seen quite a few. I've seen a few documentaries with him in it. Done appearances on YouTube and things like that.
Right.
So yeah, he's just legendary.
Yeah, he is, and it's an unfortunate passing. Now, the thing I really liked about him, to be honest with you, was the fact that he was a nuclear physicist. So this wasn't just some guy, and no offense to people living in trailer parks, but that
crackpot.
Right. Well, everybody knows of a guy that literally the tinfoil hat wearing guy. But here was a guy that was a physicist, a nuclear physicist. So it's not like he was stupid or gullible or simple minded in any way. He was an accomplished scientist in his career, and still acknowledged his belief in this and actually championed it in a big way, putting himself out there to, research and look into this phenomena. So, I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better representative to give it credibility than him.
Right.
Truly, he was just an amazing guy.
Yeah, William Bennett's right though. He was on many panels, many tours. He just got out there. He did the work. He followed up. Just everything. And that's a question I don't know. How did he die? I don't know how he did.
Let me pull up the article here and see what it says. Sources close to Stanton T. Friedman have confirmed that the ufologist and nuclear physicist passed away unexpectedly last evening at the Toronto Pearson Airport while returning home from a speaking engagement in Ohio. Wow, he was still at it. Man. Friedman worked as a nuclear physicist on classified projects, including nuclear aircraft, fission and fusion rockets, and compact nuclear power plants for use in outer space. For over a decade with companies like General Electric, General Motors, Westinghouse, McDonnell Douglas. However, it was Friedman's work involving UFOs for which he was perhaps best known. His interview with Major Jesse Marcel in 1978 is largely considered responsible for the resurrection of the 1947 Roswell crash and investigation. Friedman was a firm supporter of extraterrestrial hypothesis to explain UFO sightings and used science to help show how it might be possible for spacecraft to traverse the universe's unimaginable expanses. So it really doesn't say how, but it says that he actually passed at an airport.
Yeah, that sucks.
Wow. Yeah, that's very sad. But again, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know. It's a guy like this that really sets the playing field.
Yeah, absolutely.
And levels the playing field for normal people like us to say, yeah, we believe in this stuff.
Right.
And it's okay because Stanton Friedman does too. I mean, literally, that's like one of those guys. It's like, well, you think I'm stupid, but guess what? A nuclear physicist also believes me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like somebody is going to school for broadcast journalism or sports broadcast journalism, things like that, and they come up and there's a very famous one that's actually in the ufology and ancient aliens kind of thing. And so, that's, not stupid people, not necessarily their field, but nuclear physicists that's dealt with, sending, developing, like you said, nuclear, engines into space and things like that. There's a lot of credibility.
Fusion and fission rockets
fissions,
and compact nuclear
Yeah.
generators for
That's
flight.
it. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, my God.
Craziness.
That's quite a laundry list. So I mean, he not only that, but if he was involved with all those things, he was probably involved in the black projects and stuff, and was aware of what we were capable of, and could probably very certainly be able to differentiate between what was ours and what wasn't ours.
Right.
But I'm more familiar with the fact that he was out there than I am familiar with what he had to say. And unfortunately, I've seen him on many, many shows throughout the years, but I just don't know what his position was or how he presented his findings or whatever.
Duke, I love Duke. Duke's so informed. He says, I saw a debate between Stanton Freeman and Bill Nye, the science guy.
Oh, God.
He says it was brutal. Stanton wiped the floor with him.
Oh, my God. I'm going to have to YouTube
Yeah,
that
we're
later.
going to have to. Yeah.
Is that on YouTube, Duke? Because I want to see that.
I'm going to find it right now. I can't wait.
I pretty much like anybody wiping the floor with Bill Nye, the science guy, because he's been made this mouthpiece for a lot of, I think.
Yeah, I liked the guy way back in the day because I remember him being on
Sure, I watched him
Live at 5 in Seattle and things like that. But wow.
Yep. Well, there you have it. That's our first order of business tonight, was to acknowledge the passing of one of the greats. It's unfortunate, but I think he made his mark, and he did. He towed a huge line for all of us, and hopefully we'll see this all disclosure at some point. Come to disclosure, I guess, would be more appropriate. So anyway.
Apparently it was on he was on what's that guy's name? Larry King. He was on Larry King when he did that.
When he did what?
The debate with Bill Nye.
Oh, okay. So that's that audio only, or is that the video?
No, well, I got part of the video here. It's only a couple minutes, but it's only like a minute and a half or so. But I'm gonna have to watch it. I'm gonna have to pause it and just watch it later.
That's brilliant.
Gonna be fun.
Yeah, please. William Bennett says, "Please, God, let that be on YouTube." I know exactly.
Well, here, I'll drop the link that I found. There's probably more, but
yeah, I'd like to see the full thing. I mean, a quick smoking of Bill Nye's, rear would be fine, but I'd rather watch it saute for a while.
See the butter go in the pan, the onions saute, and then Bill Nye's ass.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Don.
Bill Nye, the fried up guy.
Bill Nye, the smoking ass guy. Sorry, I just had to go there because I don't. I just think he's an engineer. He's not a scientist, but he's been playing himself off as a scientist for a long time, and acting as an established authority on so many things. Mm-hmm. And I'm not necessarily saying he's wrong, but I don't think he should be the mouthpiece because he had a children's show about science. Let's see.
Are you a wizard?
That'd be a thumping good one too once you train up a bit. All right, so that's enough Hagrid for tonight. All right, so I got a weird article here that I want to read, and this one's kind of out there, ladies and gentlemen. But apparently the Sasquatch are making strides, ladies and gentlemen. The Sasquatch are no longer just gonna smack sticks around and roll boulders. Apparently they're up in their game. And let's see what's going on here. And this is coming from the singularfortean.com. Intoxicated man claims Sasquatch assaulted him with an axe. There you go. Let's get into the meat of this entree. A man in Chiloquin, Oregon, called 911 late in the afternoon of May 9th to claim that Sasquatch was trying to kill him with an axe. Whoa. The caller was not provided a lot of detail. Klamath County Deputy District Attorney Cole Chase. This man, guy's name is Cole Chase. That sounds like just a 50s novel, doesn't it? Contact my friend at the attorney's office, Cole Chase. Told NBC News 2 that he was threatening, rude, and abusive to 9/11 dispatchers, but the officers still responded quickly.
Thank God.
Officers responded to the scene, found an intoxicated Timothy Drennan, who told them that he had been attacked by Sasquatch. And the defendant, Mr. Drennan, was combative, made some threats, but ultimately was taken into custody without any physical incident. Said Chase, it doesn't appear as though there's any issue of mental health concern here. This was strictly intoxication. A subsequent investigation did not turn up any evidence of Sasquatch. Upon the subsequent investigation, there was no signs that Sasquatch was present, said Chase. So there you have it, but just be careful out there, ladies and gentlemen. Don't leave your axes lay around because they're apparently they're willing to use them now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh jeez.
Yep.
Oh no.
You don't hear those stories every day.
No, and you don't really want to either.
No. Oh God, Duke.
I know.
Duke. It's a family-friendly show, Duke.
That's why he's not on the microphone right now.
Yeah. Sorry, brother, but
be on later, not tonight.
all right. So let's see here.
Oh goodness, I'm just dying.
Yeah, that was a wild story. I've never, I don't know. There you have it.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh, another thick red line circle there.
Yeah, well, they always help. I don't know. I'm looking to see if that even looks like a ghost. Apparently, there's a photograph here. I don't know. I can look at it. I'm not sure I can read it though. But let me just look quick. I don't see.
Pixelated, like somebody tried to throw some pixels in there and give it form.
No, it just looks like a low quality zoomed in shot, but it's probably a much bigger photo. But they zoomed way into this part. But they're saying it's a ghost, and I'm still not really seeing a ghost. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's enough there to share. It's just one of those pictures. Oh, they claim to have seen a ghost. Otherwise, I think I've covered everything I can on that one. So what do you got, Don?
What do I got?
Please tell.
Let's do this. Okay, here we go. I thought there was more than that, but let me see. I've got a couple things open. Let's close that tab.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so here we go. One reason millennials are more likely to buy a haunted house.
Oh.
In today's cutthroat and pricey real estate market, it's going to take more than a few ghosts to scare off some home buyers. Things that go bump in the night be damned. Overall, according to a survey, 1 in 3 buyers will be willing to purchase a haunted home if they could get a little something extra to sweeten the deal.
Oh, jeez.
You think.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the age groups, millennials were most likely to do so if they could leverage those pesky spirits hanging around the lower-priced homes. It says that although 17% of millennials polled were willing to overlook a few hair-raising experiences or spirit sightings to get a good deal, other generations are not completely opposed to the idea. About 15% of Gen Xers surveyed and 13% of baby boomers say they'd buy a haunted house for a cheaper price. Maybe it's a friendly ghost.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, most buyers probably wouldn't know their home to be was haunted. Only about 34% of sellers disclose ghost-related interests to the buyers, while another 27% would only tell them if they were asked about it. On the other hand, sometimes homes are wrongly considered to be haunted. It closes. This closes with people don't want to live in a murder house, so you can actually get some decent deals on houses because something really awful happened there.
Oh.
That's actually kind of disconcerting.
Well, here's the thing, though. Yeah, I mean, this is the Ghost Adventures generation.
Yeah, that's true.
This is the Ghost Hunters, Ghost generation. A lot of the people that are buying homes now grew up watching paranormal shows.
That's true.
And you'll see a lot of hotels now making sure that it's known that they have haunted rooms,
Right, yeah.
or things like that, because they're trying to appeal to the the investigators in all of us, I guess. So
That would be fair.
yeah, exactly. But I think that might be part of it, is that, to claim it's a haunted house might actually be a selling point.
Well, true enough. True
I
enough.
don't know. It depends on the person. But
Well, that's what this is saying is if it's a good deal, maybe I'll jump in there. Yeah, no, actually, I don't ever want to buy a house. I'm not interested.
just get you a box.
Just give me a box and a
Outback.
sign that says, "I'm not homeless. I live in a box."
This is my home.
I'm the man in the box. Self-declared witch Amy Blackthorne cleanses about 10 to 15 homes a year that the owners suspect are haunted, but it's extremely rare that there are malicious spirits lurking about, she says. So there's your peace of mind.
Right. Okay.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, that's the other part of it, though, I guess, is that if you were to get a haunted house, could it be cleansed? I think probably. I don't know. There's maybe a few houses that are so corrupt with that energy
True,
that there may be no way to cleanse them. But generally, you can cleanse a lot of things out, or just come to a peaceful agreement with them for the most part. But I don't know. I guess it depends on your sense of adventure, ladies and gentlemen. You might be able to get a sweetheart deal, but you might end up possessed. In the whole thing.
Yeah, the
You
trade-off.
you might end up with a few more personalities than you were intending. It's hard to say, but I mean, that is the risk anytime. Now, I heard something interesting today, and it was actually on the Confessionals podcast, and I thought this was really interesting. And it never occurred to me, but this caller to the show, and it's the latest podcast from the Confessionals, the caller was talking about an experience he had seeing some kind of shadowy apparition in his bedroom. And he was talking with his wife afterwards, and I'm not going to try to paraphrase the story because that's, on the Confessionals podcast. I would recommend checking it out. But the person was talking about, we'll have to what did he call it? There was a word that he used, and it's failing me right now. But they'll have to re-cleanse the house, basically, or re-anoint the house, or something like that. I think it was anointing it or whatever. And Tony Merkel asked him, like, so, have you always done this? And even Tony said, it never occurred to me. And I had to admit, as I listened to it, I was like, that's a good idea. No matter where you move, you should probably go through and cleanse it. It just never occurred to me. But
Really?
now, I don't know why.
Wow.
I don't know. It's just like something that I would do, of course, after I moved in if I noticed things were weird. But if they were just normal, then I wouldn't bother with it. But why not just go through as a preemptive kind of thing and
Make the seller pay for it.
well, yeah, my anointer cost $50,000. Yeah, we'll take it off the closing costs. But no, I mean, it's just a great idea. It's like, why not go through and have a cleanse a home before you actually move in?
Right.
And I thought, wow, that's a novel idea. So I don't know. That's the route I'm going to take from now on. I mean, it just makes perfect sense. I don't know why that never occurred to me before. This is like derp, It's like, wow. Derp. Yeah, I was a little disappointed in myself, but now that I've heard it, it's like, yeah. So I thought I'd share it with you
Kind of
guys.
like a preemptive strike kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. You just go in there and be proactive, and if nothing's there, no problem. You're still, maybe you're knocking down some residual energy, but at the best, you got something lurking, and they're gonna know you mean business right off the start. It's like, oh, these are the sage people. Come on, kids, we're moving.
Hey, tell Naysay hi. He just showed up.
Hello, Naysay.
Hello, Naysay.
Welcome to the show, Governor. Your podcast launched today, sir, and I've heard nice things about it. I've heard people are enjoying it from the chat room here, so that's that's wonderful to see you.
There you go.
And thank you again for recording that with me. That was a good show.
It was a great show.
Lots of fun. Did you listen to it?
Of course I listened to it.
I don't know. I'm just
I'm
curious.
the one who had to go through and
Well,
put
that's
everything
true.
together.
Well, I know, but there's sometimes you can
Yeah,
do
sometimes
something
it's
as a mechanical thing, and
Yeah.
sometimes you'll actually, I mean, I do the same thing. There's some things I really read, and other things that I just review.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, yeah, it was good to show though. But yeah, thank you, Naysay, and welcome to the show, brother. And Lewis, I see Lewis is in here.
Yeah, Lewis is here. Yeah.
Was he here before?
I think so. I do remember him talking about.
No, I mean, did you announce his name
Oh.
at the beginning?
And Lewis is with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go. All right.
There you
so-
go, Lewis. Just in case, bud.
But yeah, Naysay, your podcast is out there, brother.
It is. And Gemini listened to it, so ask Gemini.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, Gemini was the one that said she liked it.
Yeah, she said she loved it.
There we go.
So I wanted to get a little more into this. Is that okay?
Yeah, please.
Okay,
please, by all means.
what is a stigma? In real estate terms, a stigma refers to an intangible attribute of a property that may prompt a psychological or emotional response on the part of a potential buyer.
Uh-huh.
In addition to physical defects, the house may have unusual features or history that negatively impacts the value. A home where paranormal activity, suicide, murder, cult activity, famous adulterers, or other misfortunes and crimes took place could be categorized as stigmatized property. Understand disclosure so that your purchase doesn't come back to haunt you. Here's a scary fact. A listing agent may not be required to disclose a stigma to a buyer. Ever heard the phrase caveat emptor? I can't say it. It's French.
Caveat emptor.
Yeah,
It's
that's
Latin.
nice. It means buyer beware.
Yep, Latin.
In the past, sellers were not required to disclose anything about homes that they were selling. Over the years, though, most states have changed this rule and now require that the buyers be made aware of certain issues.
Mm-hmm.
The law urges buyers and sellers and their agents to engage in fair and honest dealing with all principles, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
However, the laws that regulate disclosure of sketchy events vary from state to state. Some state laws explicitly relieve the salesperson or broker of obligations to disclose certain stigma. For instance, what if a house is haunted? Massachusetts is particularly lax when it comes to stigmas. Here, in the witch city of Salem, a seller's agent does not necessarily need to volunteer the information about paranormal activity or even a felony suicide homicide that may have occurred in the home. Having said that, if you or your agent asks directly, he or she must answer truthfully. So I bring this up because Sarah mentioned that they have to tell you things like that. And the answer is actually no, really they don't. If you are not doing your due diligence and asking, whether it be history, like was this First Nations property? Is this a sacred burial place? Did something awful happen in the house? Whatever that may be. Unless you ask, in a lot of states, it's a don't ask, don't tell.
Oh.
It really is.
Yeah, I know that not all of them have disclosure laws
Right.
on real estate, but some of them do. I don't know if it covers hauntings or not. I've heard sometimes that it does, and sometimes that no. It's more geared around you got to tell them if there's a leak that you know about,
Right.
or something like that. But
Simple structural, physical things.
right, yeah, exactly. So very cool. Now, was that the end of that, or?
Well, I just want to finish with this last sentence. It's better to find out early that a home has a few skeletons in the closet,
Oh, ba-dum-bum.
so you can either walk away or adjust your expectations or price accordingly.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my, that would be interesting. It's like, famous people who have bought haunted houses. Trent Reznor.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, didn't he buy Sharon Tate's house?
Oh, did he?
Sharon
Okay.
Tate was the Charles Manson Helter
Right.
Skelter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else bought? Well, of course, Zach Baggins, Demon House.
Yeah, he gets his hands on
There's
anything
quite a
he
few
can.
people. I'll have to look it up, but there's quite a few famous people who've bought haunted houses on purpose because
Right.
they're like that.
Well, I don't think for the most part it would bother me, but I guess it would depend on the type of haunting. I mean, if it's just a spirit that plays piano and closes and opens cupboards once in a while, no problem. But you know,
As long as it's just playing around a little bit. Hey, I'm right here. Slam, slam, slam.
if it
Okay,
tries if it tries to ride me like a moped, then then I have a little more issues with it.
Oh, look, he's asleep again.
Hey, let's take him for a drive down the highway. I'm walking outside in my pajamas, not sure what the hell's going on. No, that's a different issue. I would have problems with that one. But I don't know. I I know there's things that sometimes occur here.
Right.
Whether it's due to the show or whether it's my imagination is possible as well. But just some really strangeness, which we've actually recorded doing the shows, some of that strangeness. So, I don't doubt that it happens, but it really doesn't freak me out by and large.
Right.
I don't know. I honest to God don't know why that doesn't concern me more than it does, but it just doesn't. And I chalk it up to the fact that maybe on an intuitive level, I just know it's not really evil. It's just saying, "Hey, I'm here," that kind of thing. So that doesn't bother me. Now, if I had a swarm of flies suddenly and my closet was telling me to get the hell out,
The
then
breath of a demon.
yeah, exactly.
Get
I
out.
wouldn't be so comfortable. I'm sure.
Yeah. No, you can keep the basement. It's okay.
Yeah,
I don't need it.
Yeah, we're done with that.
Here, let me seal it for you.
Yeah. So I actually found a new channel on YouTube that I think is interesting. It's called The Ghosts of Carmel, Maine.
Oh, wow.
And they've got some footage on there that's just amazing. Either these guys are brilliant at, staging hoaxes, or they have truly got some of the most profound apparition footage I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Now, they've got a boatload of EVPs that I think are suggestive at best. But some of the actual apparitions they've captured on their videos, I mean, they even shocked me. Like, oh my God, really?
Huh.
So if you guys ever get a chance, check out the Ghosts of Carmel, Maine. Now, I have no relationship with them at all whatsoever. I actually heard of them from a Nuke Top 5 video, and he went over some of their footage, and that's where I heard about it. And then I went over and checked out the channel. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, he's caught some weird shadow people stuff and cupboards and doors opening and stuff. It's really profound. Now, I really don't think he's getting EVPs like he thinks he is, because every time he's catching these EVPs, somebody's moving or doing something. It's not really, so that part for me is harder to grasp. But the footage, I'm telling you, is just unbelievable. Really, really cool. So if you get a chance, check that out. That's just me.
Yeah, you got to be careful about that contamination to the area kind of stuff.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, it's a squeaky floor. You can hear his pants moving and stuff, and somehow he's pulling out, well, this is a word here, and then he'll put it on the screen and replay it 4 times.
Right.
And it's like all I'm hearing is them making motions and movings. And, maybe if I had headphones on when I was listening to it, it would be clearer.
Right.
But just on first glance, I'm not as impressed with the EVPs. But the footage, I think, is incredibly remarkable if indeed it's valid.
Right.
It's incredible. Some of the best paranormal footage I've ever seen.
Huh.
So
I'll have to check that
yeah.
out.
It'd be kind of cool to get them on the show. Maybe I'll have to reach out to them and see. I wouldn't want to call them on the show and say, "Hey, I got no time for your EVPs, but your footage is great." Because I mean that's part of the whole picture. And again, I should listen to it with headphones on before I draw any real conclusions. At least for myself personally, but I'm not trying to call them out in any way. I respect the hell out of what they're doing and that they're doing something that they feel very strongly about. And I love what they've presented so far. But the EVPs for me are a little more questionable, but the footage is amazing. So I know I'm repeating myself now, but anyway, I just wanted to make sure to be real clear about that I'm not trying to be a jerk in any way.
Hey, guess who's on the phone?
Oh, MCAT. Well, let's have a talk with Mr.
He must have
MCAT.
pulled over to use the restroom. Like, I might as well call the fellas.
All right, Mr. MCAT, you are on the air, sir. How are you tonight?
I'm pretty good, fellas. How are you?
We are well, thank you. How's the road?
Oh, nice, straight, flat. I'm down in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite states.
Yeah, stay away from Florida, man.
Really? I think Florida's cool, but
Stay away from Florida, man. Yeah, it's beautiful down here. About 72 degrees. Just a wonderful day, and
oh, perfect.
I just figured I'd call into the boys.
How you doing, my friend?
How's
So,
the journey?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
How's the journey though? You good? Are you on your way back, or are you going there?
I'm just parking for the night, and I got to pick some up in Miami and take that across the country.
Oh God, you're going all the way down. Okay, gotcha.
To make sure it's not clam chowder.
Yeah, no, it's flowers. It's not
Okay.
clam chowder.
So what you got on your mind tonight, sir?
Well, the team leader for the team that I was on, his house was very active, and so we would do a lot of investigations at his place because it was a good place to train up new people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I know where I'm going. Don't be bossy. Silly thing.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, there was a number of EVPs I picked up there. It didn't seem to make any sense. They were just kind of oddball ones, but one was, they were both female. One was, "You can't catch me,"
Oh.
which I thought was interesting. And then the other one was just weird. It was 10,000 volts coming.
Oh, geez.
Like, I don't know what that means, but like, I don't think anybody in the right mind would be saying that. That's pretty strange.
Wow.
The really strange thing that happened there was,
Be in either of the two right lanes.
I know where I'm going. Take it easy. Good Lord.
Welcome to marriage.
Well, yeah. The interesting things that happened was there would be sounds of things happening even though nothing was happening.
Oh.
So they had these ceramic objects that were on the wall, and so one night they're laying in bed.
Continue on US 27.
God, please, I've got this already. So they're laying in bed, and they hear what sounds like one of those ceramic objects sliding down the wall and hitting the floor and breaking into a million pieces.
Oh. Uh-huh.
And so they think, well, there goes one of those. So the next morning they get up, nothing's damaged. Everything's just right where it should be.
Wow.
Nothing is broken.
No.
The really strange one is Dan was in his office and he had a bunch of papers on his desk. And it sounded like somebody walked in, grabbed 2 handfuls of papers and just tossed them about the room. And he's sitting there in the middle of this and nothing is moving.
Oh, wow. What do you make of those things? Now, you hear that come up all the time, those auditory hallucinations like that. People talk about hearing, oh my God, it sounds like our kitchen is exploding, like dishes flying and stuff, and they go in there and nothing's out of place. What do you think's going on there?
I've heard of that too, where it sounds like someone's moving furniture and they'll tape the furniture legs and then they come down and nothing is moving.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that could be. If that, I don't like to necessarily use this term because I'm not even sure what it means, but some type of interdimensional.
Right. That's what
I don't know.
That's what was occurring to me too. Is like, are they hearing even a residual kind of noise of something that had happened or, at another time?
That's interesting.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know you're
I'm
not big
sure
on the
about
residual
that.
stuff,
But
yeah.
it's just a really strange how you're hearing something happen, even though in our 3-dimensional reality nothing is happening. It's
Right.
just so odd.
It really is very profound. Now, your lead investigator, he must not have a problem living in a haunted house, then, eh?
He didn't care. He had pretty much set the ground rules, and hey, I don't mind that you're here. It's fine. I know that you're here. This isn't a problem.
Okay.
As long as you don't cause too many disturbances, we're okay. So he he wasn't concerned about it one way or another.
Wow.
No, that's really cool. Wow. I don't know what it is with those sounds though too, and it comes up all the time that people are hearing these things that haven't happened, but it sounds like everything's just getting torn up. I don't know.
Sasquatch with an axe.
Could be a Sasquatch with an axe. That's been known to happen.
The Sasquatch are arming themselves.
They are. They're
it's
done.
the revolution.
It's time to come out of the closets, fellas.
Yeah. Time to come out of the woodshed. That's it.
Come out of the closet. I like it in here. This is a nice closet.
Yeah. But strangeness all around. So he never did try to push those spirits
You're right.
out or anything. He just used it as a boot camp kind of thing for the investigating group. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, just basically, he just figured it was a good environment to train new people up, and the activity was benign enough that it just wasn't going to really bother anybody. So
Right.
it worked out pretty well.
Is he still investigating to this day?
He's semi-retired. The last that I heard, he works full time. God, what am I? Like HVAC. He works in the HVAC industry, and he works full time. But he's getting close to retirement, and it was a lot. It's a lot to run a full-time team and deal with clients. And he just got to the point where he just wanted to back off from it. So he's not as active as he was.
Okay. Does he still own the house?
No, he was renting that house, and the property got sold, and they bulldozed it.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, it's farmland, so they were going to expand the farmland area.
Sure. Yeah, well, that makes sense. But yeah, it's just, there was some footage that was captured out of Illinois, and basically it was in a farm field. There was this abandoned mansion and it was a brick kind of mansion. And it's pretty famous footage. It was captured on like VHS in its early days, the big camcorders, and they caught some amazing things. Then videos of these moving mists and apparitions in the windows, and even looking in really forensically checking out these photos. They had layers and layers of different exposures, and it was just really there. It wasn't just a trick of the light or something. And including this one, the one picture had a picture of like this beautiful woman up in a window. She obviously looked like she was ghostly, but she had like a golden shine to her. And they did some contrasting and checking with the different exposure types. And on one of them, it didn't look like a woman at all. It looked like a skeleton with a cloak on it. It was really creepy.
Wow.
Wow.
So they had all this amazing information.
Wow.
They came out with it, and it made it on the news. And I guess the farmer didn't like that attention, and he bulldozed the whole place.
Oh, jeez.
Because it was an abandoned mansion anyway.
Oh, wow.
So it was really tragic to hear that, and now to hear that happened to this house as well. It's like, oh, man, those are such, interesting and opportunities that are just gone.
Mm.
Yeah, yep, that's right. Now, I think that the real question is, was it attached to the house, or is it attached to the
land,
the area, the property?
Right. So that's a good question.
Or things that are in the home.
Okay, so let's ask you that question. Let's say, for instance, they have a haunted house, and what if it is attached to the house? What happens, do you suppose, to that spirit energy when the house is demolished?
Oh, I don't know. It's going to have to, we don't really know enough about that to really answer that question to a satisfactory degree.
Sure.
You could say that, if this is something that's able to move around and the house gets demolished, it's just going to have to find somewhere else to go and bother people. Well, I guess I'll just pick up my, all my games and go somewhere else then.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's true. It does... that's the other question.
You know, if it's something that could be trapped, and I'm not entirely convinced that things are necessarily trapped, but let's just, for the sake of argument, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what would happen to that spirit energy.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to go somewhere.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And if it doesn't just instantaneously cross over because of that loss of habitat, then, you know, it must go. Maybe it just gets bound to some of the items. I don't know. That's something I've been wrestling with.
It could be. I mean, if they're paying attention and they know that this is happening beforehand, they might just, you know, hide out in something, wait to get moved, and then, you know, take residence in the new place. I don't know.
Sure. Now, and to speaking to that, I've heard many times when people are like psychics are going to go to a place, many of them say that the spirits contact them before they've even left their home to come to these places. Like they know they're coming. So it wouldn't surprise me at all that they would have that same precognition to know that their building was going to be destroyed and you know where they can move or whatever. Like I'm sure they were never surprised.
Yeah, I'm sure that is true. I know that from the smudging case that we did in this house on the north side of Des Moines. Before they left, the person that Dan took with him, who was a psychic, and he called him, said, "Hey, I'm leaving," and the guy said, "Hey, be on guard because they know we're coming and they know what we're going to do."
Oh, wow! And they did, or how did that end?
Well, that's the one where the client opened the door, Dan walked in, and it felt like he was swimming in glue.
Oh, so they were trying to stop him.
He was being active. He was being resisted. They knew what he was going to do, and they didn't want him to do that.
Wow. And he did
So
successfully.
that's similar to what Lisa was saying about the being wrapped in wet blankets.
Oh, right.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's such a cool story too. She was literally just stuck. Oh man, that's cool. When are you going to do some more investigating?
I think if the weather clears up, I'll be home. At the end of this month, it's going to be there's a large metaphysical fair that I always go to. I know a lot of the people there, and I always get a lot of readings done, and usually pick up some rocks that like me, and carry them around for a while until they decide to leave. So I'll probably I'll see if I can get time for an investigation in.
Oh, cool. Well, I hope you'll definitely keep us in mind when you're doing that, and we'd love to see what you find, brother.
Oh yeah, I'll keep you in the loop.
Excellent. It's always great to hear from you, brother.
Oh, you betcha, man. I'm glad to be here, and I will talk to you guys later.
Excellent.
All right, brother. Drive safe and mind the misses. That's just your GPS.
Well, I'll do what I can.
All right.
All right, man. I'll see you later.
All right, we'll see.
Wow. That's kind of awesome.
That is awesome.
You know, that is a good question, though. I mean, if they demolish the house, where does the spirit go? Right. You know, I was wondering, though, because you've talked about, you know, traveling spirits. You know, you think you think that they're you know, some of them travel,
wandering.
like they just kind of wander around and wander into here and set off the ghost app over there and then wander right back on out. And that's okay with me as long as they just go out your side. I'm okay. I realize the door's on my side, but whatever.
Not that they need those.
No, not really. But you know, it's the point.
Right. No, I think they can. They can just go. There are some that choose to stay, and I believe mostly it's a choice. I think that in some cases spirits get stuck because maybe the circumstances of their death. You know, they're just in that. They're in that shock state where they don't know what to do, and they're just kind of in a state of confusion, so they just stay where they are. But I think for the fully actualized spirits that are for some reason or another kind of earthbound, they just wander around. They just sometimes go places and see what they find. You know, how many times have we had those stories where somebody be in their bed and suddenly there's this dark apparition and it feels horrible and menacing and terrible, and and they are able to get it to leave through whatever method, whether it's calling on the Lord's name or whatever.
Right.
And then they'll never see it again. So it's just like something wandered in and raised a little hell and then left. And it's strange. I don't know what the purpose of those things is, but they're kind of one-off events. There's so many of those one-off events. So I believe there has to be these. Some of them are, maybe it's just a mischievous kind of spirit that's really just screwing with people.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they have any problem looking however the hell they want. Like, they could look like they were, 8 feet tall, or they could look like they were, a mouse.
Right.
They could appear any way they want to. So, perhaps they just do stuff like that just to get a rise out of people.
As a child, by any chance?
I'm sorry?
As a child? Do they appear as a child?
Oh, they can, yeah. You know my feeling about child spirits.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so, there's no question they can appear as children. And I think a lot of times those can be really dark entities. And ladies and gentlemen, here's my thing, and I say it every once in a great while, but I really believe this is true. In instances where there's a child spirit, to me, that is a big red flag. Not that there can't be child spirits, I'm sure there can be. But my feelings about it are, if there's anything good and just and right in the universe, when a child falls in their journey is over here, something will bring them home. They're not just left and abandoned to sort through whatever the hell's left. That to me is about the cruelest fate possible, and especially for something as pure and gentle as a child. Now, I think a child sometimes can stay when they, if like they're leaving their parents behind living. They may stay because they can't leave. They see the pain that that it's caused, and so they stick around. But I think so. Here's my theory, and it's so many times it comes up in these stories that people believe they have a child spirit, and so they start buying things like stuffed animals and dolls and balls, and
right.
Trying to appease the spirit because they want to help. And if you're a normal person at all, you're going to be almost genetically coded to respond to a child in need. It's just human nature, and it's a good nature. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to spirits, I think, if they're a dark spirit, if they're an evil spirit, the one thing they want is to get to you. Mm-hmm. They want to get through your defenses, and they want to do it quick. Sometimes they'll spend years doing it, but a lot of times they want to get to you fast. They'll appear as a child, because what happens when you see a little child? You're like, oh, my aching heart, this poor child is all alone, and I want to help it. And you open your heart to it. I will take care of you. I will help you. Just let me love you. And, and you've automatically surrendered everything. You've automatically surrendered all of your natural defenses. And so, all this thing has to do is just go, and it's, Mama. Yeah, exactly. It's like that. And so, when you look at nature is a great example of predation. Any predator is going to exert the least amount of force necessary to capture their prey. And so, they tend to be incredibly efficient. They tend to be incredibly good at what they do. Mm-hmm. But because an injured predator becomes a starving predator, becomes a dead predator. So they don't want to get injured or starving or whatever, and that's in nature. So if you think about what is the quickest way to get to a normal person, and it is to appear vulnerable and weak and helpless. And it will boom, people will open up, and then the scratching starts, and the bad moods and furniture moving, and it goes south after that. So so I really believe that when I hear child spirit, instantly I'm just like, boom, just like, wait a minute, and I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm saying you have to be extraordinarily cautious in those times, because I think more times than not it's not a child. Right. I really do. I think more times than not, it is something else appearing as a child, because that's the quickest way to get you to surrender. Right. And open yourself to them, and then that's when the ugly stuff comes. Right. So my 2 cents, my opinion, take it or leave it. Again, not that there are no children spirits around, but I just think there's more that are not really children at all. So,
Wow.
what?
Well, no, that's, I mean, that totally makes sense. I mean, you know, I know there's a lot of people that would disagree on that, but I think you're absolutely right. A predator's out prowling and it'll do anything it needs,
Right.
you know?
So if these dark energies do need us for some reason, and we believe they do, they need
Yeah.
something we have, whether it's our energy, our life force, whatever, we don't really know, but they seem to prey upon people. And many of these dark things want nothing more than to destroy whatever you are. They just want to destroy you. Some of them, there's ideas that there's these earthbound spirits that just want to live again. So they want to take you over. They want to walk in and take over your life, because their life was cut short for whatever reason. So they become dark
right.
in that pursuit.
Naysay just said something. He said, I also think that parents go through the loss of a child that do not let them go. Now, what if the parents in their grieving and never releasing that grief, what if that brings them back?
Well, it may.
And what happens to the child spirit if it can't return to its creator, shall we say, the creator or the energy? If it can't rejoin the original spirit, does it become demonic like? Does it go crazy? You've asked this before, do ghosts go insane? Or does it try to or does it try to help them through the grieving process and get them to the grief? But if it doesn't happen, do they resent them? Do they haunt them because of they wouldn't let them go? That's creepy, actually.
Right. So it's,
sometimes I depress myself. Like, that's a horrible thought.
it is. And, it's horrible. I mean, the worst thing in the world possible would be to lose a child, of course. And my heart breaks for anybody who's had to endure that. It really does, on a very profound level. I mean, I feel that. It's just, and I don't know. It's the one thing I don't know if I could make it through. It just would, I think, break my heart completely. But, I suppose that grief can hold the child because the child loves the parent too, in most cases.
The connection, yeah.
Right. And so they don't want to see the parent hurting, so they stay because they want to be close and, try to help in some way. But I don't know. There's a lot of this dynamics that we'll never know on our time in this world, but these are just ideas. These are just thoughts, and this is one of the thoughts that occurred to me. I don't like to think of any spirit being earthbound,
right?
Unless they're horrible spirits, but then they should be bound somewhere else, not here.
Bound for hell.
Yeah, well, and not that I believe in that either, but I don't know what I believe as far as that's concerned.
Right.
I think that hell can be self-imposed, but I mean, seriously.
It can be. It doesn't. You don't have to be dead to self-impose yourself to it either.
Right. I mean, we create our reality,
Right.
and there's no reason to believe that doesn't continue after this life. That we can continue to create reality after this life, and it becomes just as real as anything else. So
people in the chat, they're saying, say the parents didn't let them go, so they decided not to cross over. Well, that's one thing, but what if they're trying to cross over, they want to cross over, and they're not allowed to? Is my question. I mean, I can imagine, like you said, some may hang around because of, the connection, and so a few chatters have said a similar thing. But what if they don't want to? They want to help through the grieving process and get you through what needs to be done, but you won't let them go after that. And do they come to resent it? So that was kind of
I don't know.
So
yeah, I mean, it's an interesting line of reasoning, and I don't know. I mean, I suppose it's possible.
Ugh.
I don't know. Releasing anything, of course, is Diana. I'm definitely going to hang around the portal after I go. You'd have to. It might be standing room only. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, it might be. Seems like it's getting a little crowded all up in here.
It might just be an amphitheater. We're not quite sure how this looks to the other side, but if there's room, you're welcome.
Oh no. I just had a thought and it just went right out of my head. Doggone it.
You're right, Julia. Deb will be on Friday as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That will be a great show. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar with that, on once a month, generally, we have Deb Varner, who is an amazing psychic friend and part of the portal. She's been a part of the portal for years doing this, but she'll come in and do a show. And we accept call-ins from listeners to get free psychic readings. And that'll be on Friday nights here on the portal. And it'll be a 2-hour show, but you just call our line at 720-923-0500. And when we get to you, we get to you. But
Call early, hold the line.
yeah, if you're going to call in that night, definitely call in early and hold the line. I'm sorry for those of you that are calling, using long distance. There's nothing I can do. But if I see, of course, an international call, I'll do my best to get you as quick as possible. But she'll be on the show doing free psychic readings. And it's truly an amazing thing. Excuse me. I did a little burp there, but I'm sorry. So, that'll be Friday night. Really cool. Really, really cool.
Wow. We've had some deep conversation already today.
I know. It's kind of a weird mayhem. Mayhems are supposed to be fun light shows, but
Well,
we got to get deep every once in a while, ladies and gentlemen, because that's just how we roll up in here.
What you got?
Well, this is another article from the Singular Fortean, and it's talking about multi-denominational representatives invited to Roman Catholic churches exorcism school in response to increasing cases of demonic possession.
But we don't do exorcisms.
According to who? That's what? Who doesn't?
They don't. The Catholics, for the longest time, no.
Oh,
we
they
don't do that.
they
that's
denied
not
it.
Something we do. No, that's silly.
that's and I'm not Roman Catholic, so forgive me if you are, but they did have a long period of denying they did exorcisms, and I don't understand that, because obviously they've always had an exorcism school. I don't know why they felt the need to be so secret about it. I don't know. Maybe there's a method to the madness that I don't understand, but it is strange. But yeah, it's come out pretty clearly that they have actually been training a record number of exorcists lately for about the last maybe decade or so, because they say there are more cases of real demonic possession. I don't know. Maybe there's just a lot of people that are mad. I don't know. But I know there's a pretty strict criteria for how they determine if an exorcism is actually warranted or, and I think that they work pretty closely with psychologists to review the person to make sure it's not just mental illness.
Right.
Now, here's the part that I don't understand. So why could it not also be mental illness, but it's more invoked by the demon? Could the demon invoke a mental illness in a person in order to stay hidden and not be exorcised? Is that not a possible ploy? What do you think?
Is the haunting or the possession caused by some abnormality in the brain, or is the abnormality in the brain caused by the possession? You've got to examine every avenue. You really do. But that's a good question. But then you have to. I kind of wonder if you have to. How would you determine that? I mean, how would you determine that? You would have to do an exorcism, a successful exorcism, to even come to the idea, to either cleanse the mental illness out because of the possession, or just find out that the mental illness has always been there.
No, I'm just theorizing this, but right. I wonder if they must have a pretty established criteria to determine which is which, because I think about that all the time. So if a lot of the medical practitioners, especially in the mental sciences, they don't subscribe to a lot of spiritualist ideas like that. And so how many people are in asylums that are actually just possessed? And to me, I think that's a real big number. I think that, there certainly is mental illness, and it certainly is a tragic and tormented life for the people suffering from it. And I'm not trying to negate or minimize that in any way, but what about the people that were just normal and suddenly, boom, they're suddenly got mentally ill? How'd that work? Because, usually mental illness will manifest during the teen years.
Right.
If it is a hereditary factor. There's other mental illnesses that may show up as due to extreme stress or whatever, and extraordinary events like that. But, what about the 30-some-year-old person that all of a sudden, is speaking in tongues and having issues? Well, give them some prednisone and put them in the comfy room, Yeah, exactly. Well, whatever.
Well, no, same thing.
I'm just saying, it's just, I'm sure there are asylums filled, with at least some people that shouldn't be there. They need a different kind of help.
Right.
And having somebody sitting in a corner drooling, I don't think is much of a life.
That's not helping.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I'm here to tell you, having worked a long time in corrections, I saw some people that were so doped up on antipsychotics and stuff. Their existence wasn't even there. I mean, they weren't alive. They were messes. They had prescribed literally a small bucket of medicine.
Yeah.
This person had to take several times a day, and he literally would just be sitting there like this and drooling and spittle running down his chest. And we worked really hard at that time to get him off all that stuff, at least a majority of it. And he became this really neat guy,
Wow.
As soon as he was able to get weaned off, and apparently there was a lot of legal issues in that because they couldn't believe the amount of medicines this kid was being given. But he became a really cool kid.
Right.
All of a sudden he had a personality, and there was light in his eyes, and, he was laughing and communicating, and, he was a bit of a hellion from time to time, but I mean, he was alive before he wasn't alive.
Right.
He was drugged into a stupor and left to sit there. And how could he speak up for himself? He didn't have the wherewithal to even complain. He just drooled. And it was really, really tragic. But I don't know. That's neither here nor there. But it's just kind of in reference to the idea that somebody could be suffering from something that medicines can't help.
Right.
And they just given enough medicine so that they don't cause problems. That's a very different kind of thing. That's not a treatment.
No.
That's a punishment.
But it's all meant to supposedly help. I'm always been a big not.
It's doing it.
What?
It screwed up again.
Great.
It went. Everybody's like, "What? It's over?" No, it's not. It's my board is haunted again.
Yeah, here we go again.
It was working good for days now, and now it's decided to be haunted again.
So,
I did not even. Is it back? What's going on?
Hold on.
Yeah, it's
looks
back.
fine.
Okay. Oh my god, my board is haunted. I unplugged it. It was switching on its own. So there's some of the weirdness that I'm talking about.
Everybody's like, "Wait, what?"
That's the stuff I'm talking about. Stuff that does not make sense, ladies and gentlemen. That should not be happening.
I'm looking at the ghost app to see if anybody just happened to stroll through.
I'm gonna show what this thing is.
Wow.
So this is. If I can get it up that high. There we go. I think it's on screen. So this is a board with, I'll get the light reflecting here. This is a board with many buttons, and they have LED pictures of them, of the different scenes that we use in the show. And so basically I'm clicking through these for different camera angles. It's not just a touch. It's not just a light touch thing. You got to actually push the button in, and it clicks like a keyboard button. So it's like a little keyboard number pad. It is doing its own thing, ladies and gentlemen. My keyboard, my little thing here is deciding which scenes it wants to show, not the ones I want it to show. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to figure this out because, man, is that crazy, huh? I wasn't even touching it, Don. You can vouch for that. I was just sitting here looking at it like, duh. True story, ladies and gentlemen.
It can only happen in the portal.
That's the weirdness stuff. That's the stuff I don't understand. I mean, I'm not claiming to know everything, but
Diana says, I like this sassy ghost.
it's kind of a bastard, though, really. It's like, hey, what's this? Yeah.
Oh goodness,
All right.
but I've been a big, person. I've been I've been a big proponent of not medicating people either overly or unnecessarily. Sit down and talk with them and really find out if if there really is an issue. Mentally or whatnot, don't just dismiss. I've ranted on about medicating kids for many, many times. And, so I'm going to avoid that tonight. But, just throwing medication at a kid is not going to answer a question. A kid, a young adult, an adult, it doesn't matter, unless you get to the core root of the problem. There's no sense in doing it. So,
Right.
there you go.
Well, I agree with you. So here's the thing. I mean, we've kind of come to this age in our medical practitioners where it's so easy to throw medicine at anything. It almost becomes where you don't worry about teaching children limits and responsibility and stuff, because you can just throw medicine at them and they'll quiet down.
Right, yeah.
You can throw medicine at a kid that doesn't want to sit down. Not that kid should just be told, "Hey, sit down now." It's like, oh, he's got to be ADHD. We better get medicines for this. It's like, step up and be a parent first.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, then there's always that option. But my God, this idea that we have to throw medicines at everything. And if you read the side effects of this thing, it's like, oh my God, it's just not worth the risk. It may cause rectal bleeding. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah. But hey, my tongue won't itch anymore. It's like, really? Is that a good trade? I don't know. It's just weird because there's a medicine for everything now. And, it's kind of like the canned health industry.
Right, yeah.
Let's create pills for just about anything that could be wrong with you. And so they treat symptoms. They continually treat symptoms, but I don't know if they're really good at getting to the underlying causes anymore. So, and I believe that's true for the behavioral sciences as well.
Yeah.
It's easier to get a kid drooling in a cup than it is to have to deal with all of the things that are broken in his life and fix.
Right.
So if you take someone in a damaged place and then, throw medicine at them just to get them to sit still, it's like, well, you might want to look into this a little more. So it doesn't seem to be the same amount of accountability anymore. It's just a matter of a prescription. And I'm not anti anything as far as that's concerned, but I think it's, there's got to be a happy medium. I know the pharmaceuticals have done a wonderful thing for so many different things that have ailed humanity for eons. And so now we have treatments for those things due to the miracle of modern medicines. But some of them are.
Yeah, some of them are.
But some of them aren't. And that's where I think we got lost. So
I was talking to
not that this what the show is about, but I get on a soapbox every once in a while, and that's kind of my thing.
There you go. I was talking with one of my coworkers the other day, and there's this stuff called astaxanthin. I think that's how it's pronounced, and it's made from red seaweed, so super nutrient. And she says that she doesn't take her pain medications. She's been, diagnosed with this, that, and the other thing. And she doesn't take any of those pain medications anymore. She takes this and she takes magnesium and things like that. She does the healthy route. Mm-hmm. And yes, Dee, that's it. That's the one. And she says she feels better than she ever has in her life. And it's just amazing. So,
are you shaking the desk?
I was doing this. Was this?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That was it. Okay.
Pardon me. It's not the ghost this time.
No, I was just wondering. My microphone was sitting here going like this.
So
like, what's going on?
My point is that we've dealt with things through centuries and millennia with naturopathy, naturopathic, medicines and things like that. And all these wonderful drugs that they're coming up with, medications, are supposedly based off all those kind of things. No, they're not.
Some of them are.
Some of them are, but
some of them are. But I get it, and it's
they're all synthesized. They're not natural anymore.
right.
Because
they can't patent a natural.
Yeah, exactly.
They can only patent a synthesis. So that's where the money's at.
Soapbox. Bong, bong,
Bong bong, yeah. Let's do something paranormal, shall we?
Yeah, sure. There was another one I kind of wanted to read. Inside 7 haunted homes that are seriously creepy and for sale.
Ooh, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You can own your own. Go ahead.
Talking about the real estate tonight.
Yeah.
There's a house that was involved in an exorcism to rid its spaces of ghosts. There's a house, according to local lore, that has a piano that repeatedly plays one note by itself. Several.
I played it all by myself.
Boom, boom, boom. That'd be scary. Several other residences have infamous histories associated with them. A haunted house we have. We've had some people asked to spend the night in the house, an agent says, who is representing a home that was built in 1749, where there have been reports of a love-lorn female ghost endlessly awaiting the return of her beloved. Some of them consider it a feature. This house features its own grieving widow. Yeah, whatever. Some of these houses are going for anywhere for $500,000 up to $4.5 million.
Wow.
This house, it's said to have a female ghost occasionally appears in 4 bedrooms. In the 4-bedroom, 4-bath Priestley house in Canton, Mississippi. In the house, a piano plays and candles fall out of their holders, all by themselves. The current owners have extensively renovated the property, that's probably why, to its original condition. Oh, well, they were putting it back, so maybe they won't be so mad. They tracked down the original trifold doors that had been used in the house when the Priestley family owned it in the early 1900s. The house is listed for, oh boy, $938,000. A besotted female ghost is said to be endlessly waiting for her lover to return in this 7-bedroom, 5-bath, charming forge house in Wilmsdorf, Pennsylvania. Only to be continually disappointed because he was thrown from his horse when riding up a path to the house. One of the wings of the house date to 1749, but more pieces are added in the later decades. This pre-revolutionary house retains much of its original character with the ornate built-in shelving. According to the listing agent, local folklore has it that the woodwork and the earthwork that powered the forge was done by German prisoners of war during the American Revolution. The house is listed for $825,000. Confederate soldier deserters wearing Union uniforms were said to have died in the 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom Adams Griffin House in New Orleans and continued to hang around. Sightings of the ghost sometimes holding whiskey bottles and singing drinking songs have been reported. Sounds like a damn good time.
You'd feel right at home, wouldn't you?
Yeah, just sign me up for that one.
Kind of a jug band.
Yeah, no doubt. My jug just happens to be empty, too. The third floor is the guest suite with a full kitchen. The house is listed for $1,018,000.
Wow. So you're buying a lot of history there, though, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
These are not only haunted houses, but they're
pieces
historical sites.
Historical sites, yeah. Wyckoff Villa in Carlton Island in Cape Vincent, New York.
Wicca?
Wyckoff.
Wyckoff.
Wyckoff. Wyckoff Villa. In Carlton Island, on Carlton Island in Cape Vincent, New York, was built in 1894 by the Remington typewriter magnate William O. Wyckoff, who died of a heart attack the the first night he stayed in the house.
Ooh.
His son sold it to General Electric in the early 1930s, but its plan to build a new plant there was scuttled after World War II.
Huh.
The home has been empty for more than 60 years and looks like a set of a scary movie.
Wow.
The 6.9-acre waterfront estate is on the market for $495,000.
Oh, that sounds brilliant.
Yeah,
I mean,
actually
God,
doesn't sound so bad, actually.
No, there's houses up here that are selling for way more than that.
Yeah, and a lot less acreage, too.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, so he died in the house. He died of a heart attack. It wasn't like he was killed or murdered or foul play or,
Right.
you know, I mean,
Yeah.
I could imagine him walking in one night.
I mean,
going,
God, the house already has its sacrifice. Go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah, we're done. Don't worry about it.
It just needed a little sacrifice.
But that one actually doesn't sound so bad.
No, that price doesn't sound bad at all.
Less
6
than
point
five-
some acres?
Yeah, 6.9 acres, waterfront.
Oh, man.
Waterfront. It's on Carlton Island in New York. So
In New
I
York.
think New York is the only problem I have with that one. So.
Well, I mean, it's not like it's in Queens or anything. It's, I mean, you're not going to get the inner city issues.
Well, we hope. All right. The 16-bedroom, 14-bath Campbell Castle in Wichita, Kansas, was modeled after a Scottish castle and took 2 years to build. Many of the fireplace, stained glass windows, and other features were imported from castles in Europe. That's kind of scary in and of itself.
Wow.
Including a 300-year-old staircase from London. It is said that spirits from the old European castles haunt this new location. That's exactly what I was thinking. The home is listed on the local, state, and national registers of historic places, and the current asking price is $3.5 million.
Where was this?
This is in Wichita, Kansas.
Wow.
The Campbell Castle.
Campbell Castle.
16 rooms. Can you imagine heating that?
I don't know. I mean, if you can afford a $3 million house, I'm sure that's not a big deal. But,
I'm sealing off most of those rooms and calling them cold storage.
you're a little disturbed, Don. You're a little troubled.
Oh, no.
I no longer feel safe. Oh, man.
Oh, man. Okay. The house underwent a massive renovation that included the addition of a grand ballroom with the stairway modeled after the stairs on the Titanic.
Oh,
One of the prior inhabitants, Patricia Carr, kept a diary of her time living at the estate from the 1940s to the 1960s.
Mm-hmm.
Her grandchildren published the memoirs in a book titled The Long-Legged View. That's still available. The 6-bedroom, 6-bath home is listed for $499,000.
wow. See, I love those historic homes. I mean, I used to own a Queen Anne Victorian, and it was built in 1894. And
Oh.
that house was so warm, and I just loved it. It just, I mean, it had so much history, but it just felt so warm.
Right.
There was a little spooky stuff that would happen there too, but that's where I actually saw my the only apparition I think I've ever seen.
Right.
Was in that house, full body apparition. But I mean, it wasn't a scary home.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me. For my cousin, it was. But that's when he walked down the stairs and put his foot right onto a broken off razor blade. But we got another caller, so let's get to our call and see just what's going on here. And this is area code 701. You're on the air.
Well, hello, gentlemen.
Well, hello. How are you? This sounds like...
I am absolutely as fantastic as the universe will allow. Thank you for asking.
Well, good. How's things in the fast lane?
Well, if you are in my path, I'll just call you Speed Bump.
Ooh. Just going to roll on through, huh?
God love you, Naysay.
Ladies and gentlemen, our own
I love you
Naysay.
too, Don.
What's on your mind tonight, brother?
I wanted to ask, do you have any frozen screens this evening, especially around 10:10? Because in the chat, I was trying to incite the chat room to try to activate your ghost machine.
Oh.
And I was saying, let's do it at 10:10. And I was sitting here pondering and thinking of your ghost machine or your ghost app to get it going.
Uh-huh.
And I noticed it was 10:10, and then I started doing some breathing exercises and that. And so I just wanted to call in and say, if I may or may not have had any influence on anything going wrong, I'm sorry.
I don't know what time did my board go to hell?
It's 8:35 now, and it couldn't have been more than 20 minutes. It's got to have been. You know what? You creep me out sometimes, Naysay.
my board went to hell. It decided to go to the credit screen over and over by itself. So that's not necessarily normal. It has done it before, though, but I don't know whether it's paranormal or not, but it's certainly bizarre.
You know, I think you're scary.
Well, if you think about it, you know, just for the fact that we're using this mobile device to contact you, so everything is electromagnetic fields. And so if we are connected, and I think we talked about this at one time, Brent, because it's sounding familiar in my head as I say it, but we're connected. We're connected through the wireless, the Wi-Fi, the ether. We utilize the cell phones to strengthen those connections so they relay to us. And they relay us our oogly googlies with their video screen. They relay us with our voices, our ears, and everything's electromagnetic field. So we absolutely are so connected, but we're conditioned to be the army of one. You know, be yourself, but be part of the team. You know, so we're constantly saying, yes, we are miracles, but nah, you're not. You know, so they're constantly having us doubt ourselves. When I do absolutely believe that when we do synchronize with the greater cycles, and I know I've talked about this before, and you were saying earlier, Don, when I do my fasting, lately I've now been doing 7 days fasting. Wow. Literally by that 5th day, there are thoughts where I'm like, you know what? I think we've been fooled to think we need to eat.
Oh, really?
That we could be like plants and utilize photosynthesis or like vitamin D and just absorb this energy, this collective universal ether or whatever you want to call it. You know, so the power of the mind is incredible, but unfortunately it's that double-edged sword because like Brent was saying earlier, when some of these entities that may or may not be malevolent or benevolent, and they just may be so simple that they may not understand that their want of a connection with you is going to disrupt your universe. And as you were saying, as these poor entities that are stuck in these hospitalizations with these challenges with the activation of their brain or the lack thereof, if these entities are able to permeate or penetrate or go through our portals and walk in or possess us, then are we not obligated as other miracles to find these occurrences and assist by collectively, with intentions or with proclamation, direct the electromagnetic fields to be the change?
Could be. Very powerful. Now, I know a lot of, there's some yogis from India and stuff that have, there's one guy in particular who has allegedly not eaten anything or drank anything in years. Allegedly. He's apparently been investigated by their medical professionals over there. I don't know, if I don't know the specifics of it. I just know that that's the claim.
Well,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it.
According to the book Autobiography of a Yogi by Paharanda Yogananda, he discussed about going throughout India and meeting these yogis that were performing these incredible, remarkable miracles, more or less.
Uh-huh.
And it's funny because we don't realize that the dead are coming back to life. How many people have you heard are in the hospitals and die of heart attacks, and we bring them back?
Well, yeah.
So literally, the dead are coming back to life.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in a wonderful and a miraculous time. I just hope that when they come back to life, it's the original person that went beyond and came back.
Right. Yeah. Our own Dee Swiger died. Diane Swiger, that's in the chat room. She died and came back. So it's
Okay. Wow, my heart just sank. I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh,
No.
I remember that story.
yeah. Wait till I'm done.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Active listening, not.
Yeah. Exactly. No, but she had that experience as well, and it's been a real profound experience for her. As well, and she's actually calling in on the line behind you. So,
But yeah, that's funny that you say that too, because I think we've shared a couple times on past paranormals about the different times where I should be dead, but in that moment of where I thought I was dead, all of a sudden it's like a total blackout. I mean, just a quick example is when I got ran over by the commercial garbage truck. I was looking at the treads coming straight at my face.
jeez.
And I just released and said, okay, I'm going to get squished. And I just let go. And then I remember nothing except laying on my other side and some guy coming up to me and saying, oh my God, you're alive. You know, and that maybe 10 seconds, 5 seconds, I have no clue what occurred. All I remember is literally seeing the treads and seeing 3 stones stuck in the tread in the shape of a triangle with a white one on the top, a gray stone on the bottom right, and a black stone on the bottom left.
Wow.
And that was the last image that I remembered before opening up my eyes and seeing this guy standing over me and just like, what just happened?
Right. That's crazy. That's amazing. It's hard to know what happened with your brother, but I'm glad you're still with us.
But I'll let you guys go because I love to hear D too. Thank you guys.
All right, brother.
Thanks,
we love you.
AC.
Thanks for calling in.
All right, toodles.
Okay, and let's get to Miss Diane and see what's going on. Hi, Diane.
Hey, love you guys, and
Love
love
you
you too, Nisi. And Nisi, you know, I just said in chat, I don't know if you noticed, when you finally pass, I don't think anybody's safe.
It's too much love in naysay to leave people alone.
I don't think he's going to leave us alone. He's going to let us know. Hey, guys.
Absolutely.
I'm here. Yeah, I don't think he's going to pass quietly.
No.
Anyway, well, yeah, heck. Okay, now you have summoned me with this talk, mortals.
Please do.
But, yeah, you did. There's several things there, Mr. Nace. First of all, what you're looking for, the name you're looking for, is the breatharians, who do not eat. They
okay.
food. They eat sunshine and air, supposedly. And I actually know somebody who knew one and hosted him at his house a few times, and he indeed did not eat. Very unusual guy. His name was Ellie Tom, and we've lost track of him. We're not sure he didn't ascend or something.
Oh.
But very unusual fellow.
Uh-huh.
And do we come back always the same person? I'm not sure we do. I'm pretty sure that what Nace saw was real, but as Chris had mentioned on BTV, and how I have also noticed, we tend to pop out of our bodies when we're just about to die.
Mm-hmm.
We don't actually feel ourselves dying generally. We pop out of our bodies as we're dying. And I noticed that even when from some, and so I'm going to tell a story just for those. I guess I'm going to tell this story.
Okay.
One thing I will say, if you on suicides, one spirit, and I can't give too many details, I'm just not allowed, but she thought she was just going to slowly drift away,
Mm-hmm.
slowly fade away. She had done the thing with the sleeping pills and slit wrists in those bathtubs.
Mm.
But what happened was she popped out of her body, and it really freaked her out. And when they found her, she was out of her body a little while before she got back in. They managed to revive her.
Oh.
But she said it was the weirdest thing. She said she was just expecting, and for a while it was that way. She was just kind of drifting off, and then all of a sudden, pop, she's out of her body looking at the mess and going, oh, damn, that didn't work the way I wanted it. So after that, she never did try it again because obviously it was completely, not what she was expecting. She expected it to all end, which is what we're told.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I met a guy in a chat and he said, well, I am 100% sure that when I die, it's all over, and so I'm sorry about the luck of all of you because you're all going to be gone too. And, he was making a joke, and I said, and I'm a paranormal investigator and 100% sure that it never ends. So, sorry about your luck. If you're expecting to just kind of drift away, it's not going to happen like that.
So you mean when you say drift away, you mean just into non-existence? Is that what they were expecting?
Yeah, and non-existence. A lot of people have been trained to think in this society,
right?
Because of science. Because science, has been trained to think that they're going to end, and then they get a shock when they don't.
Right.
They get a shock. They're like, "Hey, I was supposed to end.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I'm still here. Wait a minute, I have no body. Wait a minute."
That's amazing.
Some of them, then, from then on, lead a very different life.
Well, I suppose it probably affirms a spirituality to them that they didn't know existed, and perhaps that's what they needed all along.
Yeah, I sometimes think that actually was a good turning point for that person.
Right.
They never tried that again because obviously it was kind of futile.
Yeah.
And realized that maybe there was something more, and maybe there was something beyond their kind of box that they were thinking in too. So, I mean, a lot of people, the reason they go, they just want all of the chaos to end. They want all the pain to end. They just want all of the bad stuff to end. And they don't see how to do that. And they think that dying is going to end it, except it doesn't really end it.
Yeah.
Because you still exist. So, I say your best bet is to resolve things while you're alive.
Yes.
As much as you possibly can. And, yes, the broom thing. I'm going to tell everybody the broom thing so that you can clean your house before you move into it.
Okay.
Okay. You take the broom and you, with the intent, and this is the way I heard it, with the intent that you're going to clean all the negative stuff out of the home, you brush over you completely sweep the place out, even the walls, even the ceilings, even the floors, everything, every nook and cranny. You sweep it with a brand new broom.
Okay.
And you then take the broom and you break it over your knee or some way, And then you make sure you dispose of it where nobody can touch it, because supposedly everything that might have been there has been transferred to the broom, and if anybody touches it, they could. So you now have two halves of a haunted broom, maybe. So I sometimes wonder if this is where some of this haunted stuff comes from.
Yeah.
It's like. But supposedly that was the way they used to do it in the old days. I remember as a kid reaching for one of those brooms on the trash pile, going, "What's this?" And then somebody going, "Don't touch that. We just, yeah."
Now,
Don't touch it.
could they be burned then at the end? Would burning be the final
probably
cleansing?
be your best bet.
Okay.
So I guess that was the old. But this was just thrown out, and I would say probably it's a bad idea to just throw it on a pile out in for the trash to pick up, because somebody could touch it.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want to.
Unless you don't
Just
like your
in
garbage guy.
Yeah.
That's a guy.
I'm really thinking now, did I ever accidentally touch one of those?
Yeah.
But
Right. That's interesting.
So, okay, let me see what the other thing is. There was something else I was going to mention. But anyway, you guys asked these questions, and I just thought I'd hop in for a minute and put my 2 cents in and what I know about it.
Yeah, we
What
kind
the
of
heck do I know?
we kind of opened the door for that kind of thing, though. That's the point.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, I love the participation. It always makes the shows go so much better. So thank you for calling in.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Love you all.
All right, we love you too, Dee. Thank you again, and have a wonderful night.
You too. See ya.
All right, good night. Dee is so wonderful. She's such a nice person. Right, Don?
She is awesome, and she's always. Why is she always laughing?
She's a happy person.
She is a
very happy person. She's just a kind soul. And we are at about 8 minutes left.
Wow.
Oh, excuse me. The evening has been rocking by, hasn't it? It is sweaty in here, though, isn't it?
It is kind of warm, yes.
Yeah. Oh, man, we're going to have to figure out some airflow issues here before the dead of summer hits us, man, because, we might be needing those Speedos
No.
and a bath towel.
Nope. We ain't rocking that up in
It's
here.
going to be a sauna up in here, Don. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
whatever. You weirdo.
Well, you have no idea just how weird it goes. But no, I'm generally a pretty normal guy. But looking through what I got here, do you have anything else, Don?
No. Well, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
That last one I read about the house. Apparently I forgot to read the first part of it.
Oh.
So let me back up here just a second here.
Okay.
Okay, go back up. I kind of lost my place. So I read that the house was under a renovation that included the addition of a grand ballroom and a stairway modeled after the Titanic. Well, I forgot. I'd missed the first part. It says Pillar Estate was built in the early 1800s and is part of a haunted house tour in Albany, New York. Children's voices have been heard through the house, and the sound of one piano key being played repeatedly, even though there is no one at the piano, is another ghostly feature of the house. And then it underwent a massive renovation, and that one is 6 bedrooms, 6 bath, and it's listed for $499,000. So
those are not very steep prices, though, in today's market.
well,
anymore.
like they said, if you're willing to take a few, quirks and a couple skeletons in the closet, then, you could probably get a good deal on those.
Right. Yeah,
there
I
you
think you
go.
could. It might be worth the haunting just to get the prime real estate deal. I still like that 6-acre one
Yeah,
on
the
the
6 one,
waterfront.
yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
I'm gonna save up my returnables. That's it.
Wow. No
I'm
doubt.
gonna go on aluminum runs around town here and see where I get.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. That's a lot of aluminum, my friend.
I know, but I'd be helping so many people and the environment.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know. I think that that cleansing a home, again, ladies and gentlemen, is probably the way to roll.
Dia's been rolling all night. She said, so I said, why is she always laughing? And she says,
She finally got the joke.
well, before that, she said something else just before that. She said something about her Crocs my Crocs have a kind soul.
Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Yeah, you can't buy humor like this, ladies and gentlemen. It comes free on the portal. It is free. Gotta love those one-liners. Dee's got a whole bucket of them, though. She's been dumping them all night in the chat, right?
She has, yeah. She's been rolling on it.
She's a clever lady, that Dee. It's good to see you, Drone. Good to see you stopped in. All right. So, anything going on in the chat?
Not that I've been able to keep up with.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, I don't know what else I got to say, other than make sure that you're helping us out on the podcast, if you would, ladies and gentlemen. We really appreciate it. Many of you have, and the numbers are looking good. It's really encouraging, and we owe it all to you guys. Thank you so much for reaching out, and hopefully you're spreading the news about that too. It's a great opportunity for us on the portal to literally reach a whole new segment of the paranormal universe. YouTube is wonderful, and I've loved doing our shows on YouTube, but there's a lot of competition on YouTube. It's hard to get noticed.
Yeah, that's true.
But we've been growing, pretty steadily ever since we've started. We're getting towards the 3,000 mark.
Yeah,
which is really cool. We've been stuck in the 2,900s for a while now, and it's really wild. It's like one day it'll go up 10, and then it'll go down 8,
right.
And then it'll go. I don't know what the hell's going on in YouTube, but they must have things coming and going all the time there, or their algorithm is screwed up. I'm not sure which.
Right.
But it's growing. But if you guys would check out the podcast, you can find it again: Spotify, Pandora, iHeart, Google Play, anywhere that you get podcasts, we are there. And special thanks again to Revolver Podcast for making that possible for us. We're just having a ball with it. We're recording just before the show tonight. Don and I had already recorded an hour show, and I did one with Deb the other night.
Yeah, I got to listen to that one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And you know what I like about my job? I get to listen to them before everybody else.
Don gets the well, a lot of them you're on though too.
Well, that's true.
Tonight's you were there.
Yeah.
You were part of the conversation. So and those are always fun when we can all be together. But thank you all so much for being here. Thanks guys for helping us grow and for being a part of the Paranormal Portal family. You guys have been wonderful, amazing people. I'll be back tomorrow night with the bedtime stories. Now remember, Friday night, Deborah Varner, Mrs. Deborah Varner is going to be joining us, doing free psychic readings for callers to the show. Again, the phone number is 720-923-0500. Call in that night and get a reading. You won't be disappointed. She really has an amazing gift. And actually, we've got an amazing number of psychics involved with the show. But what the hell is going on in the chat room? Oh, okay. All right, we'll talk later.
Taz was listening to the Black Eyed Kids
Oh, good.
podcast.
She got the whole black-eyed thing. Okay. What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying.
Joining us on the podcast.
Yes, Deb Varner will be here Friday, so please check it out. You're going to love it. She is amazing. Wonderful lady, very strong gift, and just an amazingly compassionate and loving person. So if you're nervous about calling in, don't worry. She's not doing this to humiliate or make anybody feel silly or stupid. She's just trying to help. She's using her gifts freely, and she does an amazing job, and I hope you guys will take advantage of it. Spread the word. If you know someone that could use a reading, let them know about the show on Friday night. Have them call in. And Deb also does private readings, and you can get a hold of her by emailing her at purplemysticreader@gmail.com and schedule a private reading if you'd rather do it that way. Or you can do both. Get a free one and then a private one, whatever you want. But otherwise, that wraps it up for us tonight, brothers. You got anything in closing?
Just see you again on Saturday, and hopefully things will be brighter tomorrow for me. I'm having some issues with the phone company, that kind of thing. But otherwise, Paisley. Don't forget Paisley Wild TFR. That's Friday night at 11 p.m. Pacific time, and there you go.
All right. Well, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Duke, I'm coming for you next.
You're next on the dance card.
You are next. All right, guys. Have a great night, and
Night night.
see you tomorrow night.
Bye.